The 5 most beautiful cities of the world. Number 5. Cape Town, South Africa. An essential destination on your trip to South Africa. Cape Town is possibly one of the most multicultural cities in Africa and has best integrated its European heritage with its African character. Its history still recalls that Cape Town was the birthplace of many leaders of the anti-apartheid movement. In fact, in this city was where Nelson Mandela recited the speech that marked the beginning of a new era for the country. Its main attraction is the explosion of color of its picturesque houses. Like its surroundings, composed of almost virgin nature, we can find large hills and abundant vegetation, and also crystal clear water beaches with penguin colonies, Simonstown, or a seal island hot bay. Very close to the city, you can also find some of the best vineyards in the country. Number 4. Prague, Czech Republic. This fairy tale place is one of the most beautiful cities in Europe, and not only for its architecture, but for its special sensitivity to art. It has produced extraordinary musicians, writers, and filmmakers, responsible for giving the city that bohemian touch that characterizes it. In this aspect, it has been compared on numerous occasions with Paris. Its medieval atmosphere is able to transport us to another time. Its old town, the Charles Bridge, or its astronomical clock are some of the treasures with which the city delights the growing number of travelers who visit it every year. Number 3. St. Petersburg, Russia. Russia is the home of the so-called Venice of the North due to its canals and more than 300 bridges. Pampers the exuberant palaces inherited from the Tsar's empire. Architecture makes St. Petersburg one of the most beautiful cities ever. But there is much more to it. This former capital of Russia, whose streets and squares lived some of the most bloody pages of its history, is an open-air museum that is hidden in the winter months by snow. The vivid colors of its cathedrals, palaces, and buildings shine on their own. The Hermitage Museum houses some of the best works of art in the world, as well as offering visitors the chance to visit some of the halls of the Roman dynasty. The most lively area of the city, where life is anything but static, is Nevsky, the universal communication channel of St. Petersburg that concentrates its most modern premises. Number 2. Dubrovnik, Croatia. It was one of the cities that suffered the most with the Balkan War, causing it to be heavily bombed. Despite the wounds, this European city has managed to recover the ancient beauty that characterizes it. Considered as the pearl of the Adriatic, this old city that stood out for its importance in the arts and sciences lies behind a wall. Its streets were once trodden by knights, fishermen, looters, kings, or merchants. Inside it, we find an ochre-colored city with a special atmosphere, which mixes tradition with art. Today, Many of the houses of the ancient craftsmen have been converted into galleries, workshops, or small shops. The beauty of this city has served as inspiration for cities such as Game of Thrones, which has used it as a stage during its different seasons, but even without the cinema interfering. This is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Number 1. Kyoto, Japan. This ancient capital of Japan mixes the charm of a classic city, where its inhabitants still wear kimono, with more modern neighborhoods. It is one of the few Japanese cities that was not bombed during the Second World War, so its architecture and heritage remain virtually intact. Here, we can find more than 1600 Buddhist temples, 400 Shinto shrines, ancient imperial villas, film studios, and more than 200 gardens. Considered the most beautiful in the country due to the diversity of its flora. Located on the island of Honshu, Kyoto is considered the cultural and film center of Japan. His university is also one of the most important in Japan, so the environment is not lacking.